Hi, my name is James Eng. I'm a senior director with Old Capital, and today is going to be about coronavirus impact on multifamily. And I'm going to focus more on asset management operations today. So, as an operator, what should I be doing now? My background is as a loan underwriter and then as a loan originator for the last, 10 years, 10, 15 years, doing over $1.5 billion in commercial properties, and then also investing in properties as a passive across DFW, Austin, and San Antonio. So this last week, I really got emails from all these different general partners about how they're going to manage through this crisis. So I wanted to share some of those with you. And I broke it down really into three different things. Number one, preserving capital. Number two, operations. Number three, leasing more specifically. So number one, preserve capital. I've seen everyone pretty much stop distributions to limited partners, whether that's monthly or quarterly, to build capital for your property. Number two, even asset management fee. People have pulled back their asset management fee to preserve capital on the deal. Number three is if you've done any CapEx recently, so whether that's immediate repairs, elective CapEx, replacement reserves, get that money from the lender now, draw that down, submit those reimbursements. People have stopped the elective CapEx, whereas you thought, I'm going to spend $5,000 a unit on this deal, on this particular unit, upgrade it, charge $100, $150 more. That has stopped. So finish the turn and lease the unit. Number four is sort of looking out what are your large expenses, whether that's insurance, real estate taxes. What can you forecast out? What can you stop payment on? What can you cut off right now to preserve cash and give your chance and your burn rate to decrease? How long, this is a question that I would have for you, is how long could you pay your mortgage assuming zero net operating income? I've seen some operators go 2 months and have reserved for even up to a year. So assuming that your occupancy drops significantly, or it's not even really your occupancy, your physical occupancy might be 90, 95%, but your economic, people who are actually paying the collections you have might drop to 50, 55% economic occupancy. So really track that and have those reserves and then build personal reserves. So I always like to see where general partners have liquidity to support the deal, whether that's loaning the money to the property and getting it back at a later date always gives me a little bit more comfort. Number two is operations. And this has changed. We've seen people shut down all public amenities, the pool, the gym, all that stuff, but provide sort of virtual amenities. So can you provide your tenants virtual walkthroughs of museums, of Netflix, of Disney Plus? What can you provide them, right? Because that's what you sold them at the beginning when they came in. You said, hey, look at our soccer field, look at our pool, look at our gym. And now all those are gone. So what virtual amenities can you provide them? And then because of this, I've seen people reduce their work staff. So let's say on a 200 unit deal, you had 4 people, 2 in, 2 out. But now maybe you go into 1 in, 1 out because the office is closed. Nobody's coming in the office. You don't need to do tours, in-person tours. So those people need to be, if they're in the office, outbound calling, text communication with new or current residents or even potential residents. And then because of the shutdown sort of on the supply chain side, we've seen people order additional supplies. So it's sort of like on the personal side where you've been in lockdown and you ran to the grocery store and bought every piece of toilet paper that you could find. As a multifamily owner, if you don't have supplies over the next 60 to 90 days and stuff starts to shut down and you can't get to it, then those units won't be able to be turned. So maybe ordering some additional supplies with that capital that you're preserving. And number 3 right now is leasing. So I would look at probably the next 3 months, getting in front of renewals early, getting them to sign up, whether that's with no rent increase or even a decrease in their current rents to make sure they stay, because it will be very hard to fill that unit. Making sure tenants are aware. So whether it's federal, local grants or unemployment benefits, or even, look, a lot of these tenants that are impacting in the B and C space were tenants that were working at all the businesses that were shut down. So the airlines have shut down, the travel industry has been shut down, the hotels, the restaurants have been shut down, but they need to be able to shift, right? So the same way that we're shifting, they need to be able to shift, and you need to help them do this. So whether that's the 100,000 that Amazon is hiring, whether it's the Costco's that are filled up with people, the Kroger's, just sort of those necessity places. And I mean, I even saw where the people who are making sort of the medical mask here in DFW, they need people manufacturing sort of 24/7. The factories just keep going. And so you have to help those people qualify for those grants or even potential jobs and help them apply for it, whether that's online or in person. They need to figure out how to get those jobs so that they can keep an income stream during this downturn. And this is an opportunity really to build a relationship with your tenants. So think about out-of-box ways to support them. I've seen people sort of give food boxes. They've given things to incentivize. So instead of incentivizing people who are coming in the door, which we still need to do, incentivize your current tenants. You're going to have to incentivize them. Your ability to evict people has gone away. And so you have to incentivize them to pay you, or your collections will go down significantly. And this last potential thing on leasing is your online presence. So if I Googled your website right now, could I walk through every vacant unit right now? Whether that's a virtual walkthrough or seeing the floor plan and then seeing your availability, where it is on the property, because your walk down traffic is down significantly. And then I would also Google your competitors. I mean, this is what potential renters are doing, is saying, all right, I got property A or B and C down the street. Which one am I going to take? And so understanding your online presence is huge, because it is not about drive-by traffic anymore. And a couple more things as an asset manager, this is really away from the property, but how you're going to strategize in the next 3 to 6 months with your partners. So communication with your limited partners is huge. I've seen, emails go out this week from general partners to limited partners talking about, all right, this is what we're doing operationally. This is how we are set up financially. And these are the strategies we're going to use. And that gives them a level of comfort with you. And feels, instead of you taking calls, be proactive about that. Number 2, look at potentially refinancing your current loan. This can come into play if, let's say, your rates are probably 4.5 to 5. If you can get down to 3.5 to 4, and you might also be able to re-amortize your loan. So do that relatively quickly if you are looking at that. And then the reality is that if a property is over-levered, undercapitalized, or not well run, there's going to be advantageous buys out there. And the people who are going to be able to take advantage of that are people with strong track records who have worked with their lender, and the ability to raise equity right now is huge. I mean, it was important before, but it was flushed with equity. Now that the market is down, let's say 30% on the equity side, people are a little bit more hesitant in terms of sending in that $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 on their syndications. And so start building that not only track record with the lender, but with your investors. And then, there's going to be some volatility on the debt side. And some people might actually start looking more at loan assumptions, just because that might give you a little bit more flexibility, or at least a little bit more certainty when you go into a deal. And if you want to talk with me more about whether you're buying, selling, refinancing, or potentially investing in a multifamily deal, you can reach out to me via email. Thanks a lot.